All right, so welcome everyone. Yay, it's lovely to see you all back here today. I hope you had a good weekend. So I have something to share with you today, and before I do, let's go into the superpower state first. So take a deep breath and go into your superpower state however you normally do that. So either by, you can close your eyes or you can keep your eyes open, whichever you prefer, and either by repeating a word or phrase, or by imagining hugging your subject. Feel that feeling, start to feel the feeling in your heart or solar plexus, and feel your heart opening. Feel that expansion feeling starting. And now think of that light or energy shining out from your heart. And imagine it spreading down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy. And now imagine that light or energy filling each of the cells that make up your body. Love each cell just for existing. Very good. And now allow that light or energy to overflow from you and fill the child, the little you. Imagine that light or energy filling yourself as a child from the tips of their toes to the top of their head, out to their fingertips. Love that little you just for existing. And allow that light or energy to overflow from that little you and fill your whole childhood, no matter what. See that power shining out from that little you and filling everything in your childhood, shining that light into darkness. Love everything and everyone, no matter what. That's your power. Very good. And now allow that light or energy to fill everyone in this group today with that same light, that energy, from the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips. Love each one just for existing. Very, very good. And you can open your eyes if you've had them closed, and see how long you can maintain this state as we continue this session. And when you lose it, just when you remember, you realize it, that you're not feeling it anymore, just go back into it again. All right, so we're going to check in with each person, find out how you're doing. Those who aren't on camera, I won't ask you in case you're wanting to be incognito. But if you would like to speak, you can just unmute yourself, or of course you can put it in the chat. All right, so starting with Tina. Hi, Tina. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm good, thank you.
Good. And any comments, questions, or targets for today?
Not much. I don't have anything.
All right, that's all right. We're glad.
I just wish to be happier than I am.
Okay. So, of course, happiness is manufactured inside, as we know, by chemicals, and wherever we're focusing is determining the chemicals. So it's just a case of establishing that new habit of shifting focus to, practicing shifting focus to what makes you happy, even if it's just your favorite color. When in doubt, just favorite color. And you're getting there, and you'll keep moving forward as long as you stay on the road, as long as you keep doing it. Good job. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. All right. And Katrina, How are you today?
Where are you, Odille?
I'm here. Can you see me?
Something was covering you there.
Ah,
Okay, yes, as usual. Yes, something just happened there a couple of hours before we come on air. But yes, I had a lovely weekend practicing sending love to it all.
good.
Okay, so everything was on a roller coaster of being, good, 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 good. And
Yeah.
then today, just before I come on here, I lost something
Okay.
that was super important to me, and within 30 seconds or even less, I went into panic mode, serious panic mode. I then went back to an event. I was lost. I sort of kept the word lost, kept coming up. I was in a shopping center and I was lost, right? And that experience, yes, panic, breakdown. And then the third one was like, where in your childhood you find this? And then I was in a fun fair and I was lost for the whole day. So
Right.
there was a breakdown, panic there. So my question is, if I'm lost, am I set up and programmed to panic?
Mm-hmm.
Is that, and then what is, I'm lost, what could I do differently? So I'm lost or I have lost. I do what now, Odille, please?
Okay. All right. Good question. And I'm so glad you shared that. Good job, Katrina. And well done for finding those links. So the first step, of course, is to send love to the childhood memories. Remember, it's the getting lost at the fun fair will be the original reference. Or, I mean, there could be something before that. There probably is something before that, but the earliest one you can remember is the one you're going to address. So getting lost at the fun fair, how old were you there? Approximately.
I would say 8, 9, something.
8 or 9 years old. Perfect. Okay, so first of all, you send love to that. Fill the whole thing with love. Fill that little 8, 9-year-old you with love and the whole situation.
Okay.
And then check if there's any negative memories. So we might as well do this quickly now. So when you think of it now, is there any negative memories left in that memory? Getting lost at the fun fair?
But it's very well packed away, Odille. I just couldn't get it all now.
That's all right. That's all right. So
Hmm.
when you so take a deep breath, close your eyes and go there now. 8 or 9 years old at the fun fair and you're lost. And any negative emotions. And if there aren't, that's okay.
Not as you've put me on the spot, no.
That's fine. That's good. So we don't have to do that work. All right. So now can you change that to where you weren't lost? And so instead of being lost, so just tell me briefly who found you or anybody else with you.
Yes, my cousin was with me, and we were at. Have you heard of Butlins? There's
Yes.
another girl there. But
Yes.
yes, we were there for the week or a few weekend or something,
Uh-huh.
and we were staying, and the redcoats.
Yes.
We sort of meandered away off maybe camp or whatever, and just didn't know how to come back.
Uh-huh.
It was the redcoats that found us.
Okay, very good. So
And then, sorry, I was going to say, and when we were found, though, everybody was very cross.
very cross. Okay, so there's a piece that needs to be changed first, a stepping stone. So let's do this. So I want you to imagine that scene now. So for anybody else watching, Butlins is a holiday camp, and the redcoats are the entertainers. They dress, their uniforms are red. So the redcoats find you, they bring you back, and whoever was there, instead of being cross, they are relieved. And oh, thank goodness you're back. Oh, and they hug you, and oh, I was so worried, but I'm so glad you're all right. Whatever the ideal would have been. Can you imagine that?
Okay, yeah.
Good. Play it again. Let me know when you're done.
I thought I'm just going to play along here with Odille.
That's okay. That's okay, because you know what? you can't play along without those neurons making those connections. So it's absolutely fine that you're just playing along, because you're still making those neural connections. Those neural networks are still connecting.
Okay.
All right, so play it again. Let me know when you're done.
Right, okay.
Good, and one more time, let me know when you're done.
So they're delighted when they're hugging and they're kissing me type thing,
yes.
yeah?
Yes, indeed. So the redcoats bring you back and they're hugging you and saying, oh, thank goodness you're all right. I'm so glad. I was so worried.
Okay.
And okay, good.
Mhm.
Now we change it to the final memory. So that was the stepping stone memory. Now the final memory is you and your cousin were playing hide and seek with the redcoats and whoever else is there, whoever else you came back to. So everybody, you're all playing hide and seek, and the redcoats find you.
Okay.
And then one of the redcoats hides, and you are the one who finds them. You're the winner, and you win a prize. Can you imagine that?
Okay, but I'm so focused on being lost. Now I'm finding.
Yes? We're changing the lost to finding.
I'm finding the redcoats.
That's it. Does that make sense?
Mm.
So you and your cousin wander off, but you're looking for the redcoats, so you don't get lost.
Okay.
The bit where people found you was you were hiding, and they found you, and then they hide and you find them. Does that make sense? And it doesn't matter if you can't manage it now, because you can practice it later, but just I want to make sure that it makes sense to do that and that you're able to do that.
Yeah. Well, I'm probably coming back to today, the panic, and I really was like really shaken by it.
Yes, but
Shaken by it, you know?
yeah, so whatever you are experiencing now to do with loss is coming from your childhood experience. And especially if you're finding it difficult to change that childhood one, then it's definitely linked to today.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So that's why you need to focus on that one and change it and make it so that everything was fine then. Then you've disconnected that reason for the panic, that reaction, whenever loss comes into your experience.
So
You've reprogrammed the burglar alarm so that it's not going off for the cat moving.
So if I'm lost tomorrow, which is not well, I lose something tomorrow.
Yes.
What am I?
So then the idea is that if you've changed that childhood memory, the childhood references, and there aren't any others, then when you lose something, it'll just be, oh, I've lost something. What do I need to do now? How do I go about finding it? Or where was the last play? Or what do I do to replace it? Or whatever the strategy is. So then you're coming from a strategic point of view and you're taking action if necessary or making decisions rather than feeling the emotions of it, because you don't need the emotions, you need strategy.
Okay, yes, I'm getting that. Yes, you take, okay. Yeah.
So that's the end goal you're aiming for is that you are no longer emotionally triggered by those events. Things happen.
Will that be good for the future?
Of course. Yes, absolutely. So then moving forward, you lose something or you don't know where you are, you lost somewhere, you're keeping your prefrontal cortex online, so you're able to think clearly and you go, oh, okay, so what do we need to do next? Oh, I remember that or whatever, because then your brain is working. Because when we're in that triggered state, that emotional state, that part of the brain's offline, which means we can't remember what to do next, and we can't think of a solution because that part of the brain's not online. So the end goal is always to be in that calm state so that you've got your cognitive thinking online, and then you can strategize, you can come up with solutions and options that you hadn't thought of before, you weren't able to think of before.
Okay. Well, this should be interesting. I should lose something on purpose to see does it work.
Sure. But make sure you change that memory first. Make sure that the new memories are really established. And here's how you'll know. You change those memories and practice the new ones, and then think about losing something. So, the process is you change the childhood memories, practice the new ones, and then think of the most recent experience of loss, and then make sure that there's nothing left there about of emotions, and change it. And then think about losing something and notice what happens inside you. And if you feel anything negative, then you know there's still something else to change in your childhood, or maybe the new memories need more practice. Keep doing that until you're able to think about losing something and feel fine.
Well, I know at the moment now, if I lost something, I definitely, at this moment in time, I couldn't accept it.
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely not accept it.
That's because whatever those childhood memories are, when you think of losing something, when you lose something, your subconscious is referring to those and going, I'm in danger, and triggering your those stress chemicals, which is making you then feel those emotions. Make sense?
Okay. Yes.
Give it a go. So Steve, would you add that to the target list, that memory of getting lost at the fun fair? Let's send some superpower to that to make it easier to change. Thank you, Katrina, for sharing that.
Thank you.
You're welcome, love. All right, and Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl.
Good morning.
Good morning.
That was very cool, Katrina. I love that. I could almost see Katrina resisting trying to change that memory, and I had that thought, oh, she has to work on that more, which is what you said. That really helped me too when I was trying to redo memories, and I'd be like, I don't want to work on that one right now. And then I was like, oh, you have to work on that one. So it over time, as you keep doing it, it does get easier, but you always have to go back to that feeling of, how am I feeling about that right now? And then you kind of know, or at least that's how it was for me. I could kind of tell when I needed. But anyway, I wanted to show you all, I don't know if you could see these buckets behind me, but.
Yes.
So those buckets, there's a lovely story. Not really. I've carried those buckets. I brought them to my first house in 1992. There were actually twice as many, filled with, I don't know what. They stayed in the basement for 9 years. They came with me to this house. They stayed in the basement for 20 years. Not this house, the house before, the other house, for 20 years. And then I got rid of about half of them, and then these still managed to be brought to this house when we moved here. And I just did not want them to come, but I had to, because I didn't go through them. So I went through them, and I've narrowed them down to 4 boxes. So I've really been doing a great job clearing. Thus the new Odille, my new coasters. Let that shit go.
Good.
So here's what's happening in my trying to let go of stuff. I'm finding that stuff is ending up by my front door. This is vintage what happens to me. There's piles next to my front door that I've said, okay, well, I can give that to this person. I can give this to this person. And then I have a big bag in my trunk of my car. And I'm saying, okay, I got rid of that. But then I said to myself last night, you didn't really get rid of it because it's still sitting there on the couch next to the door.
Okay.
So it's like I can't let go of things all at once. I have to do it gradually. So I would like some help today, just getting rid of the stuff in the trunk of my car and the stuff by my front door.
Okay, very good. So first of all, the first thing, my first question for you is, what do you need to physically do or practically do in order to, what's the action you need to take? What's the end result? You know where you're going to take it to?
Yes, so I have the bag in the trunk. It's supposed to go just to one of those clothing bins.
Right.
I think I'm done with that bag. I think it'll be okay.
Okay.
The stuff on my couch, it's like stuff that I know, this is where it is, stuff that I know that other people can use.
There you go.
or that it might be worth something.
Yes.
Or like right over here, I have a really nice meter feeder dog thing that I bought for my dog, but my dog passed away. I have no use for it. I paid $30 for it, and I'm thinking, well, I could get a few dollars for it. But I also believe that if I just get rid of it, that value will come back to me in some other way.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this then. So the next step is asking you, now when you think of, let's check the clothes. I know you said you think that one's okay, but let's check it anyway. So when you think about getting in the car after this call, getting in the car and driving to the clothing thing and putting it in, what happens inside you?
Well, this is the easy part. It's so heavy and so big. It's in my son's car, so
Okay.
he's going to do it for me.
Okay, good. So that's why you said that one's okay. Very good. Well, good job. That's perfect. You delegate.
Yeah.
That's okay. Good job. All right. So now let's go to the stuff, the dog bowl and whatever else is there. When you think of, when you think of throwing away, no, let me rephrase that. If you weren't going to sell it or, do whatever you think needs to be done with it, what would be the alternative? What would you do? Would you throw it away, or is there somewhere you would take it to?
I would take it probably to the Goodwill, which is closed.
Okay. And so the Goodwill is closed. And so what's the option then? Do you leave
I thought about putting, I could give it to someone who has a dog.
Great. Good. And how does it feel to do that?
That feels good.
Okay. Now the question is, do you know who to give it to?
Well, the person that I wanted to give it to, their dog actually did just die, but they are going to get another dog. So maybe I could ask them if they want it, because I know they're getting another dog.
Okay, very good. And so when you think about asking, like directly after this call, contacting them and saying, I've got this, would you like it? How does that feel?
That feels good. I know other people I can give it to too.
Right. Now I'm going to ask you a very important question. When you think of throwing it away, what happens?
Oh, it's like, oh my gosh, you're wasting it. If someone could use that.
That's the references. Very, very good. Okay. So how do you know it's wasting? What's wrong with wasting?
Because I think of people who could use it that maybe can't afford it, or,
right.
You know.
And what's wrong with them not being able to afford it?
Wow. Okay. What's wrong with it? Well, I've been there. Yeah.
Okay. So because here's what I'm getting to. I wrote an article a while ago called and I can't remember what it was called exactly, but it was basically about wasting food and about what's wrong with wasting food. That's what the article's about. So what you want to get to is you want to get to the point where if you threw it away, it wouldn't have an emotional effect on you.
Food too, it's huge.
Yes. And so it's not about goal. It's not about the stuff that you may or may not throw away. It's coming again from childhood. Because what you want to get to is you want to get to the point where you could throw it away. Emotionally, it wouldn't have any effect on you. But you know what? I know someone who needs it, so I'll give it to them instead. That's strategy rather than emotion. You don't want to be in a position where you can't throw it away because of the emotions.
Yeah. Well, the food thing, the one thing that I know was big, we could never waste food. Like, you had to finish every single thing on your plate all the time. I mean, I'm still like, if I see something and it's not there, I'll just eat it, even though I don't even want it. I'll just be like, oh.
So I'm going to give everyone this little tip that my sister gave me once. So once my sister said, because we were brought up like that, you have to finish everything on your plate. It's wasting, there's people who don't have and all of that. And my sister said to me once, so what you're basically doing is using your body as a dustbin, as a garbage bin. Now, doesn't that throw a completely different light on it?
It does.
So instead of going in the bin, it's going in you. It's still being wasted because you don't need it. But what's added to that is it's causing whatever damage in your body because it's not needed. So now, if you can post it to the people who don't have it, fair enough, but you can't. So, or if you know someone who needs food and needs it, then that's great. But if you can't, then there is absolutely no benefit. In fact, there's harm to using your own body as a garbage can.
Yep.
Or a disposal, or whatever you use here in America. So that helps a little bit to put a different perspective on it.
Yeah, I'm also using my house as a garbage pail.
Yes, exactly, and that's what I'm coming to as well. So with the dog bowl and whatever else you have, you know, we think of waste because we're thinking just right now, but in the greater scheme of things, someone is employed to design those things, to make those things, to sell those things. Someone gets paid a commission for selling them. You know, there's a lot of, it's not like this is the only thing ever and no one else will ever have it. So if you threw away that stuff, it looks like that's wasting it, but someone else will have to buy one instead of being given one, or make one, or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's on one level. Now, then you pull out of the game a little bit more and you think on an energetic level, and depending on your beliefs, but if you're into Abe Hicks and that kind of thing, everything's just energy. So you throw something away, it's just energy, right? So that helps as well. That helps to empower you. So this is all about being empowered so that then you can still give it to someone, but it's coming from a state of empowerment rather than, you know, out of I have to, I can't, I'm being held, you know, I'm stuck or whatever. Does that make sense?
Oh, Odille, that's so powerful. That is, I really needed that. I'm definitely going to watch this about 25 times.
Good. And I'll tell you,
and adding one more thing to that, if you want to add just the boost of seeing your parents and your grandparents being the people that instructed you how to do that. That you come from a long line of people who had that same belief, and they empowered you to do that with your goods, with your food, and see that as part of the story as well.
Oh, that's fantastic.
yes, thank you, Steve, for that. And I'll give you an example, another one from my own life that was, it was so extreme that I think it makes a good example. So I come from a family of people who hung on to stuff. You know, my grandparents, my mom, bless their hearts, because they struggled so much, and they were during the war, and there were rations and all of that, and sentimental value was a big thing. So my family have always had a lot of stuff. So I know that, you know, that where you were talking about those boxes going from one place to another with you, I can't even begin to explain how these massive storage things of stuff, right? And the same kind of thing, I'd move it to the thing, and then so now a lot of the stuff ended up in the attic of the house I used to live in Gloucester in England. And in that, you know, it just keeps being added to. So in that attic, so this was August, September last year. My mum had died in February in South Africa. But before she went back to South Africa, she'd lived with me for 5 years in England. And she had accumulated a lot of stuff because that's what, you know, that's what she did. And in the attic of that house was already almost full of a lot of stuff. So there was my son's stuff, my ex's stuff, and my stuff, and boxes of files and paperwork. And it wasn't just like, oh, there's, you know, it's all the same thing. There was, I can't even be, and photographs and all kinds of stuff. And then when my mum had to go back to South Africa, there were these massive bags of her stuff added to the attic. So then it came, we had to clear the house to sell it. And so it came the decision, and a very good opportunity to free mentally and emotionally, because now added to just the general, this is a lot of stuff and it's sentimental value, my mum had passed away just a few months before. So now we've got the added emotional stuff, which everyone, you know, most people have of, but getting rid of her stuff, you know, how awful is that? But because of the work I'd already done, and my sister as well, the two of us were able to, I got, well, my sister didn't want to know she didn't want any of it. So I took out photographs that were important, not everything, but things that represent. I took out sentimental things, took a photograph of them, and then put them to go away, and then we hired a house clearance company to come in. And I didn't even see a lot of the stuff that went because it just wasn't time to go through all of it. But the point I'm getting to is I couldn't have done that without changing those references. So because my focus went on to my love and appreciation for my mum, and my mum's not here anymore. She's not the stuff. The stuff is not her. So that, reminding yourself of that kind of thing, and focusing on the appreciation, the connection, the love, and then seeing everything else as energy, and it can go, so it's a combination of being strategic. So you don't want to just go, well, just get rid of everything. You do want to go, what, this is important. I want to keep this, and this is sentimental value. I'll take a photograph of it and then I can let it go because I don't need it physically, or whatever those things are. So hopefully that helps.
Oh, fantastic. I'm going to leave now and go to the Goodwill. No.
Good. It's the most freeing feeling in the world when you're not having to force yourself to do that. So it's very important not to force yourself to get rid of stuff. Change it inside first so that you feel happy to, and then you can let it go.
Yeah, I think you changed my brain there. So that was really, really helpful. Thank you both.
Yay, you're very welcome, Cheryl. Thank you for being here. All right, and Wanda. Hi, Wanda.
Hi. Good, good. I have a question about Cheryl's situation about the food.
Yes.
So what happened when when the restriction of going out started? I have in my house my son and his girlfriend, and I noticed that she will make 2 sandwiches, which I knew she wasn't going to eat both.
Right.
Right. So in my head, I didn't say anything, but I did tell my son, why will she take 2 when she knows she's only going to eat 1? So we're going to waste the other one. So I was getting upset because of that.
Yes.
So am I in the same situation? Or should I just let it go? Okay, maybe she's going to eat it, maybe she's not going to eat it. That's okay, she doesn't. But to me, it was a waste of my time, my money, my risk of going to the supermarket and go through all this process of cleaning and changing yourself and all that. So, but I noticed the food thing, why would you take 2 if you know you're only going to eat 1, or you're just going to nibble on the second one and throw it away? To me, that was why would you do that?
Very good. So that's a good question and a beautiful example. So here's the guide. It's about how are you emotionally triggered by it? Now, if you're not emotionally triggered and you just go, you know what, it doesn't make sense to have 2 if you're only going to eat 1. Can you, perhaps make 1, and then if you're still hungry, make another one. That's strategy, and that makes sense, and it's logical, and that's fine. But if you are emotionally triggered, then you know there's something there. So then you want to change that so that you're able to see that and feel not triggered by it, and just then be strategic. And then when you actually speak to the person, it's going to come across far more effectively, because you won't be emotional. And so the words you use, your expression, your tone of voice, everything will be non-threatening. So you'll be able to just say, look, you know what, sweetie, if it would be great if you want 1, have 1, and then if you're still hungry, have the other. But if you could not, because otherwise I have to go to whatever the reasons are, but in a very logical, strategic, compassionate way. And then you'll get a better response from the other person. But it's difficult to do that if you have these triggers, because you've got stress chemicals in your system, and that's not your fault. You can't consciously affect that. That's coming from the references. So then what you want to do is ask yourself, what's the worst thing about it? And then, how do you know how do you know that it's a bad thing? how do you know that it's wasteful, or whatever the reasons are? What's that emotion of, well, why make two if you're only going to eat one? What's that feeling there? And then where in your childhood did you feel that same feeling? Change that. So it's the opposite, positive and empowering. Then come back and check it. Remember, she's making two, imagine she's going to make two sandwiches. She's only going to eat one. She's going to throw the other away. How does that feel now? Keep doing that until you can come back to it. You can imagine her doing that again, and you can think, yeah, I don't feel emotionally triggered. You know, she doesn't realize she's doing whatever reason, and I'll just ask her to, you know, I'll just to her. Does that help?
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And of course, unconditional love, the whole lot as well.
Right.
You know,
And okay, so I have an update.
oh, good.
The squirrel didn't come Saturday, Sunday, or today.
Good. There you go.
So
Good.
they've been doing good. So I look and say, okay, it didn't come today. Looks good.
Fantastic.
So
And now
that's good.
maintain that. So keep loving them anyway. So if they do come later today or tomorrow, you love it all anyway.
Okay.
Right. Good.
And good. And then I want to target still the solar plexus.
Solar plexus, yes.
Yes, I still want to target that one.
All right. So Steve, if you could add that to the list. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wanda. All right. And on to Lisa. Hi, Lisa. How are you today? You're not. There we go.
Okay. There, yay. I can do it. I found that this weekend that I was using a cup of water to get into that superpower love state. So like I put one next to the bed, and then when I wake up, I'll do the sips of water, and I get into my supersonic little girl state.
Good.
So it's so much fun, and it's like living juicy all the time.
Yes, that's such a great idea. So thank you for sharing that, Lisa. So for everyone else as well, use that, especially if you're finding it difficult. Aim your superpower at the water, and then drink the water as a kind of potion.
Yeah, because it's like Dr. Emoto, you know, he had the love and all these different kinds of positive things. And
that's it.
Water. And so I thought, oh, the water, you know, I could do the water. So that's so easy. You know, you could be in the car drinking a sip of water and go, hey, I'm in my superpower state. So I was like, yay.
I love that. Thank you, Lisa.
So, and then that's, I wanted to have a target for everybody's financial abundance overflow, because I noticed there's a lot of people struggling, and then they're resorting to alcohol. You know, you see like people, they're drinking a little too much and while they're down, and then they're upset about their financial state. And, you know, so it's not me, but, you know, external people that I know that are struggling a little bit. So anyway, and I send them love. So yeah, I would like to target them. And that's basically it. So I'm having a good time over here.
Lovely. Thank you, Lisa. And thank you for being such a beautiful, shiny example.
Thank you so much.
So Steve, if you could add, thank you. All right. And then on camera here, Amy. Hi, Amy. How are you doing today? Oh, we can't hear you. I've unmuted you, but. Hello? No, we still can't hear you. While you're fixing that, oh, there you are.
Can you hear me now, or?
Yes, we can.
Okay, got it. It was my headset. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's the first day of my my position ending, and I'm feeling a little bit of what did I just do? A little uncertainty, kind of that fear of the future. So I'd like to target that uncertainty feeling of I'm not used to having something to do, you know, because I'm always doing. So there's this, you know, what did I just do? But yeah, so I'd like to target that uncertainty feeling. And then I also wanted to ask, when you feel triggered by a lot of different things, like when you and Steve talked about being in that stress state was kind of normal, see, when you're not sure of the exact, memories, because you feel like I'm feeling grief and loss as well, but I don't know, does it come from my whole childhood? Does it come from, so that the triggered state, I'm feeling a bit, I'm not sure how to process that.
Okay. All right. So that's a good question. So the answer to the first part of the question is, when in doubt, start by just filling yourself with the superpower and love every cell of your body. Love every cell of your body just for existing. So always come back to that. When you're not sure what else to do, that's what you do.
Yeah.
And as for sort of the finding that in the childhood, there's an obvious one with that would represent the grief and loss, the loss of childhood. So check that is now changed.
Right.
Opposite, positive, empowering. So whenever you think of that time of your childhood, is there anything left that contradicts the new version? And if so, change it to the opposite, positive, empowering. Make sure that your whole childhood is happy, and safe, right, and secure. And then after that, think about the situation now and how you're feeling about it. And if you've still got some feelings there, just check what they are. What specifically is the worst thing about it, or what do you, what's the worst case scenario, that kind of thing. How does it feel? And then just check if you've missed a spot in your child.
Okay, got it.
Start by sending that unconditional love to your whole childhood anyway. You can start and everything. And then the thing that I used quite a lot is when I couldn't think of anything. I thought of my childhood, it seems fine. So I don't know what, it seems not just fine, but wonderful. All the new memories are there, so I don't know what it could be. Then what I did was I filled myself with that unconditional love, and then I set the intention, whatever it is, whatever that is causing this current situation, I love it all anyway. Whatever that original cause is, I love it all anyway. I don't need to consciously know what it is. I'm just sending love to it. Does that?
Okay, great. Yes, that does. Yeah, definitely. It takes the guesswork out of it, so to speak.
Very good.
And then I have a two-part. Cheryl reminded me about the totes and whatnot. This is kind of a theme today, but I realize I have a lot of stuff in totes, and my mom always used to say, you have too much stuff. I don't feel I'm the typical hoarder, so to speak. Maybe that's another, generalization there. But I realized last year I've kept a lot of things in totes because this is a temporary space. I knew that. And yet, so I don't really feel like I'm fully living right now because things are still in totes and in the closet, but I'm keeping it for my next space. I don't want to get rid of it. So how do you process that when you're in your current living space without feeling overwhelmed that everything's not organized like you like it?
Right. And
I don't want to,
completely, I can't tell you how well I understand that, because that was pretty much my life. So I never got to a place and said, I'm going to live here for the rest of my life.
Right.
I was always in transit. So I never put pictures on the walls. I never unpacked most of my stuff,
Right.
So there is probably something there with, so I think the first thing is check emotionally. So emotionally feel what, a good thing to think of is, what would happen if I got rid of everything? If I got rid of everything, or I lost everything, what would happen? What would I do? How would I feel?
Yes.
What would I need to do strategically? And what happens? Because what eventually happened for me is I left the country. Couldn't bring it with me anyway.
Right. Yes.
All that stuff I was saving for my forever home.
Yes.
In England somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. Yes. But for good reason now, but yes.
Very happy.
Yes.
So that's the thing. So we attach meaning.
We do.
And if if suddenly something happened and you were given you met someone and you got the most important opportunity, but you couldn't take your stuff with you, what would happen? So that's
exactly.
about it. And then it doesn't mean you have to get rid of the stuff, but it means that you won't be emotionally governed by it. So then you can make a strategic decision. Well, this I will keep because it's nice to have, but that I don't need to keep. You think strategic again.
Okay, so when I think about that, I think about never feeling like I had a home growing up, like I could never get settled in, and that's probably where I've carried it, even though I've been in places for like 6 years and I've, decorated to the best of my, that I could. I still never felt home, and yet I know home's in here, but you also want to feel like your space is your sanctuary, and so when you say about giving the things up, if everything went up in smoke, I would feel freeing. But if I just gave it away and then I needed to go repurchase it all for a home, then that feels threatening.
Okay, so a couple of things there. So the thing of not having a home growing up, again, that was me as well. So that makes
got it. Okay.
And so then recreate where you did have a home. So in my new memories now, I've got this beautiful house in America now, and it's got and all of that. So that is now, as far as my subconscious is concerned, that's where I grew up.
Got it.
So there's that. And then the second part is if you, just on a practical level, if you got rid of stuff and then you got your home and you needed to buy new stuff, what's wrong with that?
It's too expensive. It's going to be too much to do it all over again because I already paid for it. Yeah.
So you hear there,
limiting
belief. Okay. So what you want to do again is be in that state of abundance. That doesn't mean you're reckless or wasteful.
Right.
That means that you're not worried about it. So you move into a lovely new home. I suspect that having stuff for that lovely new home is going to be the least of your worries.
Right.
Got a lovely new home.
Yes.
I'll buy a little piece there, a little piece there, but you'll be so happy in your home.
Exactly. Sitting on lawn furniture won't matter. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Got it. Okay.
But
thank you so much. Yeah.
You're very welcome. The stuff that you're keeping could energetically be keeping you from having that new home.
Got it.
Right?
Okay. Yes. That makes sense. But I don't need to go all Marie Kondo right now and just eliminate everything. But
And I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't take any actual action until you feel good.
Right.
So the action you want to take now, and this goes for everyone, the action you want to take now is sorting out the references.
Yes,
changing those childhood references, using the superpower, loving everything anyway, and you'll find that you automatically take action with those things.
Yes. Okay, got it.
Oh, you know what? It'll feel good to go through this box or change that.
Yes, got it.
There is never a need to be in a state of struggle and forcing yourself to do something you don't feel like doing.
Right. Yeah. Got it. Right? Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Amy. It's a pleasure. Thank you for sharing that and Cheryl for introducing this topic, because I know that clutter and stuff and getting rid of that is very common. A lot of people have that. So this is going to help others who watch this video as well.
Because I feel stress and disorganization. Like I like everything to have its place, and so that's another program where I'm thinking it has to be a certain way. Yeah.
And the stuff may be for different people. It may be representing different things. The stuff, the clutter, whatever it is, may be representing a person or an emotional state from your childhood. Or an experience from your childhood that's not to do with stuff. It could just be, stress. It could be, turmoil. It could be violence. It could be being restricted from your freedom. There's a lot of options there of what it could be representing. So you change all of that, and then the stuff, you'll automatically take the action that needs to be taken for that.
Thank you.
Good job. Thank you, Amy. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
Good job. You're welcome, love. All right, and then in the chat we have, can we target the anxiety that I've been feeling today regarding an application outcome that is coming out this week? Also, I can't seem to change memories of a feeling I have of opening an email regarding previous application outcomes. Okay, and the anxiety is so strong and that it's really hard. Okay, very good example. Thank you for sharing that. So the first step is to go, what's the worst thing about the anxiety? How does it feel? And where in your early childhood did you experience anxiety of any kind? And it may have nothing to do with, applications or opening emails or anything like that, but it'll be that same fear, that same state of anxiety, but in early childhood. And those are the ones you want to change. So the reason you're having trouble changing memories of opening an email regarding previous application outcomes may be because there's earlier references from your childhood. So does that help? And if you need more so this is a private message, that's why I'm not mentioning the name or calling on the person, but if you want to put in the chat to me again, if there's anything extra that you need. So the first step will be, of course, getting into the superpower state and filling everything with, and we'll do that. So Steve, could you add to the list aiming love at application responses and whatever's in the childhood? And so what we'll do then is get into that state. We'll all aim at the application responses, whether they are positive or not, whether they're what you want or not, and we'll aim it at the child, whatever childhood references may be there. And then you can look in your childhood, where did I feel that anxiety or that anxious feeling, that whatever that is, in my early childhood, if you can, the earlier the better, and then change those. So I hope that helps, but if not, let me know if you need more. Finding it hard to find those references. Okay, so then what you're looking for is, how were you punished? Were you ever punished for anything? Did you get the love, affection, so physical affection, love, attention, encouragement, praise, reassurance, and everything as a child from both parents? And if you didn't, or you can't remember, maybe you did get all of that, then run those new memories and run those memories and just check if there's anything negative. Because sometimes what happens is, the place to look is, how was I punished when I did something wrong? So for anybody who feels they had a happy childhood, just check how you were punished, because while your conscious mind may understand why they did it and that you deserved it and all that, your subconscious has taken it to mean something that's not necessarily logical. So check your childhood, make sure that it's all perfect, happy, loving, affectionate. You were never spoken to crossly, you were never punished, all of that kind of thing. So I hope that helps, but also getting into the superpower state and aiming it at everything may also help. All right, and if you can't think of any, you can't think of which references they are, just think of any negative experience in your childhood and change that. So I hope that helps. I'm aware, I'm aware of the time, but so in fact, I will share the sort of example and story I had to share with you. I will share it tomorrow instead, because there's not enough time now, and I want to make sure that we do this aiming. All right, so take a deep breath and go into your superpower state. So either with your eyes open or closed, however you do it, get into your superpower state, either by repeating your word or phrase, or by imagining hugging your subject. Start to feel that opening in your heart. Feel your heart expanding and that beautiful bright light shining out from you, from your heart. And allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy. Fill each of the cells of your body with that same light or energy. Love each cell just for existing. Now think of your subject, fill them with that light or energy, and imagine they don't want to be with you, and keep them filled with that light or energy. Love them anyway. Good job. Now let's go to Cheryl. So fill Cheryl with that light or energy from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Cheryl just for existing. And Steve, can I have the targets? And allow that light or energy to overflow from Cheryl and fill the stuff in her home that she would like to let go of. The stuff in the boot of the car, in the trunk of the car, the stuff in the house, the dog bowl, everything else that may be there. Fill it all with light and energy and love. Love it all, whether it goes or not. Even if it's there forever, love it all anyway. Good job. And now onto Wanda. Let's fill Wanda with that same light or energy from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Wanda just for existing. And allow that light or energy to fill Wanda's solar plexus. Whatever's going on there, fill it all with light, energy. Love it all just for existing, no matter what. And love whatever the cause is. So whatever the cause is that is creating that experience of the solar plexus, love that cause exactly as it is. Love it all anyway. Good job. And allow that light or energy to overflow from Wanda and fill everything to do with the sandwich making and all the people involved in the situation, no matter what, whether it continues or it doesn't, love it all anyway. Good job. And now to Lisa. Let's fill Lisa with that same light, that energy from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Lisa just for existing. And allow that light or energy to overflow from Lisa and fill everyone's financial abundance or lack of abundance. Fill everyone's financial situation, no matter what. Whether it's good or not good, whether there's money or no money, love it all anyway. Love them anyway. Exactly as it is, shining that light into any darkness. This is your power. Very, very good. And now to Swasti, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Swasti just for existing. Very good. Good job. And now to Amy. Fill Amy with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. So she's full of that light or energy. Love Amy just for existing. And allow that light or energy to overflow from Amy and fill the whole building she's in, her home, and all the stuff in it. Fill all of the stuff with that same light, that energy. Love it anyway, whether it stays or it goes. No matter what happens, love it all anyway, exactly as it is. Good job. And now to the person who was concerned with the anxiety about the application outcome that's coming out this week. Fill all of that. Fill that person with that light, that energy. Love them just for existing. And allow that light or energy to overflow from them and fill the application outcome. No matter what. Whether the application is what they want or it's not. Love it all anyway. And now love the memories of opening the emails regarding previous application outcomes. Love that anyway. Fill it all with that power, that light, that energy, shining that light into the darkness. Fill any causes in the childhood for that anxiety. Fill all of that with that light, that love, that safe feeling. Love it all anyway. That's your power. Very, very good. Good job. And now to Tina. Fill Tina with that same light, that energy, that love. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Tina just for existing. Very good. And now fill Tina with that light, that energy, whether she's happier or not. Love her anyway. Love the happiness and the not happiness. Love it all anyway, no matter what. Exactly as it is. Very good. And now to Katrina. Fill Katrina with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Katrina just for existing. And allow that light, that energy to fill whatever's causing the feelings of panic about losing things or getting lost. Love all of that anyway. Love the things that were lost. Love the things whether they're lost or not. Love the experiences of being lost, shining that light into all that darkness. And sending love and light and energy to that memory of being lost as a child. Love all of that anyway, everyone involved, no matter what. And whether she's able to change that memory or not, love it all anyway. Very good job. And now to Chris. Fill Chris with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Chris just for existing. And now allow that light, that energy to overflow from Chris and fill all the brown threads woven around her life. Whatever those are, fill it all with light, that energy, that love. Love it all anyway. And now let's fill everyone who's not on camera, who's incognito, fill them all with that same light or energy from the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips. Love them all just for existing. And now think of yourself later today, whatever you'll be doing or experiencing. Fill that version of you with that same light, that energy. Love that version of you just for existing no matter what. And now open your heart a little further to allow that energy, that love from me, that light, that energy, that pure, unconditional love, loving you exactly as you are and no matter what, filling you up with that power. Very, very good job. Good. All right, you can open your eyes if you have them closed. And how's everyone feeling? Good, very good. Any questions or comments? Very good. I'm glad, sweetheart. That's good. And I know I missed a few things in the chat earlier, I think. So walking, okay, that's good. Chris says, don't need to be incognito. I'm happy to tell everyone I'm feeling good and getting better. Good. I'm sending gratitude to things I like and what I don't like. Good job, Chris. Such a good exercise, and in Superpower, so easy and makes lots of sense. Good job. Well done, Chris. And I think that was the only ones that I didn't read out that needed to be read out. Really good, very powerful. Thank you, everyone. Good. Thank you so much, Odille and Stephen, all of you. You're very, very welcome. So homework now, assignment until tomorrow, is continuing to do target practice on inanimate objects. So as you go about your day, so bearing in mind that you don't have to sit still and do this at all. You can be washing the dishes and loving each dish, loving the water, loving the soap, loving the sponge or whatever. Take out the garbage, love the garbage as you take it out, right? Fill the garbage with love, fill the garbage disposal place, whatever it is, whatever you put the garbage into, fill all of that with love. So just keep practicing. The more you do it, the more you'll remember to do it, the stronger it'll get, and the easier it'll get to use it when you need it. So when you're triggered, it'll be easier if you've been practicing all along when you don't need it. All right, so I hope that makes sense, and we will see you tomorrow. And lots of love to all of you. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye-bye now.